Alright, so from what I can tell, these things are just basically held on with a lot of putty. So I'll just work our way around and see if I can figure out if there's anything else holding it. Yeah, there, so you can see this. This is moving. So all I gotta do is just work my way around. This stuff's got some wild putty on it. Threw that down and it's still attached. Alright, so I'm going to take out the back emergency hatch, and actually there's going to be another skylight that we're going to put in kind of right in front of it here where the bathroom is, and then back here we're going to put in a newer skylight with the shade and everything. Alright, so I'm using this Power Grab heavy duty Loctite, and I put it around the edge of the old hole, and I actually used some of the old side panel from inside to use to cover the hole, and then I did a layer of the glue on this, so I'll just flip it over. So this isn't like the greatest, my metal's not like flat, but just put it down, you kind of shift it back and forth, but I can already feel it holding. So I'm gonna have to find some weights to put on this overnight. So you can see it's holding. So the reason I did this with the crappy panel is because all this is gonna get buried anyway by solar panels, so I don't really care if we see it. Alright, so there you go. So I've got a bunch of boards along the edges, and then all these different weights holding it down nice and flat. So we'll take a look at it. What it looks like on the inside. Alright, so there you go. That's what it looks like on the inside. So, whoops. So I may have to come back at some point. We'll see. Once it's done drying, I may have to come back and seal some of these gaps. Then I'll have to fill some of these holes now. I'll just do that with my regular caulk. Call good? Alright, so got this one up, and it seems to be pretty good. I didn't see any leaks inside, so that one should be good. And then I'll show you here. So this little space right here, I believe is the skylight for the bathroom. I think so. And then we'll put another skylight kind of back in this area, so we'll end up cutting up some of this panel I just put in. But since the skylight is a different dimension than this, it's just easier to patch. And so I'm redoing these patches on the top of the roof, especially the front one, because this edge was just so bent up and my glue just wasn't holding. So this time I took it off, so I cleaned it off, and then I used the grinder and cleaned this up so it was to the metal, at least to most of it, so it had a cleaner contact patch. So I did that on both of these, cleaned them up, and this time I'm gonna caulk it, or put glue down, and then I'm gonna put a bunch of screws along the edge and then caulk it so that it holds the edge nice and flat. So these are the screws I'm using. So they have a nice little washer on them, so I don't have to caulk or anything around them. They're used for normally roofs. So that's what we're gonna use them for on this. All right, hey guys, so I have my skylight. This is for our bedroom. So this one has, it opens, and then on the bottom side, it has a light switch. So there's some lights around here you can see. And then one side has a like mosquito screen. And and the other side has a blackout curtain. So we'll get this installed. When I first opened up this box, it was quite confusing on how this worked because there were no instructions. And I looked on Amazon where I bought it from and like, this doesn't come with instructions. You should have a pro install this. And I'm like, well, that's dumb. So the main thing I was having a hard time figuring out was there's these little clips. And I could not figure out how these worked. I eventually figured out that I saw a little slot here on the side, and then I was like, wait, they'll go in there, and then they go over top of this screw. Over top of this screw, which then these little guys screw onto that, and then there's a little ball at the top of this that will lock into this piece. So all I have to do is just push it up in place. So makes it nice and easy. So now we got to cut our hole for this. And when you're cutting the hole, there's like 3 levels on this. So you cut the hole to the outside size of this piece that has the screws coming up through it. And then the part outside of that is what you glue down. So. All right, so what I did was I measured the size of my hole from this side of this beam. And what I'm going to do is drill holes at 4 corners. So that way I can draw a straight line for my hole so that I'm not cutting just kind of blindly and without any direction. So we're going to drill these holes and then we'll go up top and cut. Alright, so now we have our hole cut. Let's see if it fits. Alright, so it looks like I did a little bit wrong. So my corners I needed to round off. So I'm going to have to patch those little holes. But it looks like it fits. So. Alright, so now that we've got everything set, we'll take this skylight out and then caulk with our nice glue here to hold it down and also seal it. So we'll pull this up, put our caulk on, and then away we go. Alright, so where you put this caulk is right on the outside edge of this piece to the other black piece. So this is like the in-between. So you just put a crap ton in there. Alright, so now that I have my hole cut, I've cut these pieces. So these are 1/2-inch strips that go along this edge. So when I put my brackets on, there's a nice solid surface for this to hold to, because otherwise these don't quite hit the frame of the bus, but it's also really thin there, so it's not really going to hold well. So we put these spacers in there to make sure that it holds nice and evenly. Alright, so now we have everything caulked. Woo, my hair is a mess. I'm going to come along here and just do these edges a little bit, just to ensure everything gets sealed well. And come along here, because this is where it's really going to be grabbing. And on the top, I also did it right along the edge of my cut here. So I should be pretty good. Should be sealed up well. Alright, so now I'll just put the brackets on and we should be good to go. All right, skylight's installed. This one actually has some locks right here too, so you can put it part way up. But you always want to make sure you put it so that flaps open this way, so that if you do happen to have it open, the wind goes off of it. So, all good. All right, so I got it up. It's a little bit harder to clip in, just getting it all locked correctly, but all right, so I got smart for my bathroom vent fan. I cut this cardboard piece that's the size I need. That would have saved me a lot of headache on the other one, since the other one, my skylight, had a curve in it, and I had to patch those. That would have saved me a little bit of headache there, and it would have made me feel a little bit more comfortable, because it would have been the actual hole size rather than a square that I had to then fill in the corners that were round. So this will make it a lot easier to cut. Make sure I'm square. Alright, time to get this guy put in. So it had just rained, so you got to make sure that your area is dry where you're going to be putting your glue, because otherwise the glue's not really going to stick. So I got this towel. It's fairly dry here. Alright, so now I've got this fan in, so it does power up, so I've got it connected. So all I gotta do is hit power, and then I've got a couple buttons here, so I've got up, which puts that guy up, and then I can suck air either in, so if it's cooler outside, we want to make cooler, we can suck it in, but I'm going to push it out for now. Pull some of the hot air out, and there it's good to go. And then what's really cool on this thing also is there's this rain sense button, which if I press that, it'll keep this on, and then if it rains, it'll automatically shut it. So I don't have to worry about closing it if it rains. It doesn't shut the fan off, it just closes the hood, which is okay. I prefer it shut the fan off, but whatever. At least it's not getting wet in here. So, all good to go. All right, so that's installing my two different skylights / fan. So those are good to go. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe so we know you guys are watching, and it just helps the YouTube algorithm figure out that you like watching this sort of content. So it'll send you more content creators like us who are creating buses and converting things. So thank you for watching.